Hello, hockey fans. Welcome to the Preds Video Introduction / Season Preview.
That's a mouthful, for sure.
Indeed. We're going to go over what Preds Video Recaps are. Pretty much, we're going to be here for you every single game of the regular season and into the playoffs if they make it. No, they'll make it. Don't worry about it. They'll make it. If they don't make it, boy, that's going to be a very interesting video in Game 82.
Alright, so pretty much we're going to be talking about every play. Well, maybe not every play. Highlight plays. Maybe highlight goals, highlight empty netters. Nah, let's
highlight empty netters?
Yeah, let's be real, that ain't happening. But highlight penalties in the case of Zach Ronaldo, as Jordan loves. As you might figure out this year. Stay tuned. Highlight saves by UC Saros. But we'll get on to that in a little bit.
Some nights, it's going to be us here recapping what's going on. Some nights it'll be just me. Some nights it'll be just Ryan. So, be prepared. So let's go over the season preview. I mean, another hockey season is here after like 2.5 months of no hockey, even though we had the draft, even though we had free agency. Now we're finally at this point where on Thursday, it is Preds Rangers at Madison Square Garden. So, Ryan, how are you feeling about the Preds going into the season?
Let me start off by saying, I mean, what a place to start out the season. The mecca of hockey, mecca of basically every sport, MSG, Madison Square Garden. I feel decently confident with the Predators. They didn't make quite the moves that I was wanting. John Tavares. But,
John Tavares, like that was ever going to happen?
Hey, he liked Nashville. I haven't really seen anything from this team in the past couple of seasons that would make me think that they're on a downward swing. Yeah, they didn't go as far as we was all hoping last year. I think they're going to be okay. Philip Forsberg, he's been one of those players for us in the past couple of years. Obviously a fan favorite, but at the same time, you keep on expecting him to be a bigger superstar than he is. Because, I mean, yeah, he makes those miracle plays, but there's times of the season where he maybe doesn't make them, and it just seems like at other times, back-to-back games. So I want to see more consistency from Philip, and I don't know, maybe a little consistency in who our goalie is, maybe in another way.
So let's start off with the 3 biggest questions we have for the Nashville Predators this season, because it does not matter which team you are, whether you are the Vancouver Canucks, or you're the Buffalo Sabres, or the heavy Stanley Cup favorites at the moment right now, the San Jose Sharks and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Every team has questions going in, and for the Nashville Predators, that doesn't make them any different. So, for the Preds, our number 1 question, at least question number uno, how many games is Pekka Rinne going to play, and how many games is UC Saros going to play?
I think the bad answer would be close to saying like 50-50 on each. But as we saw towards the end of last season, it seems like that's about what was happening. I hope that they let them grow into a rhythm, because that's kind of what killed us in the playoffs last year, at least in my eyes, is that our goalie situations, it seems scattered and some of the stuff like that. I'd say that Pekka will get this more often starts, so I'd probably say 45-37 Pekka.
45-37 Pekka. That's interesting.
I hope that adds up to 82.
You know, that's interesting because you're talking about Pekka Rinne, who had just won the Vezina Trophy. How about that? Congratulations, Pekka Rinne. That is quite an enormous task.
But how old is he? 35?
Yeah, he's right up there. He's in his mid-30s. Here's the thing about the Nashville Predators. They have a great problem in net right now. All right, this is a problem that I bet the Chicago Blackhawks wish they had, because after Corey Crawford, I mean, who's the successor to Corey Crawford? They don't have one.
I mean, last year they brought out someone out of the...
Anton Forsberg and Jeff Glass. That did not work out for the Chicago Blackhawks, because now it's Cam Ward in net, and Cam Ward, I think we know what he is at this point in his career. The Nashville Predators, they have UC Saros waiting in the wings to become the successor to Pekka Rinne. And it is crazy the relationship that Pekka and UC have. I mean, they're literally like father and son. I'm on the fence of whether it goes into like the 40s for Pekka. Maybe it's more like 50-32. Our second question. We saw some interesting lines in the preseason. We had Fiala, Forsberg, Johansson. We also had Järnkrok, Turris, and Arvidsson. Will we see more of those lines? Will we see Laviolette pretty much take those lines, push it into the blender, and stir it up and see if they're going to break up the joint? Jofa line, the Fiala, Turris, Smith line. I know this sounds crazy, but I mean, he's only doing his job at that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned some of the lines they had tried. I mean, it's preseason, so why would you not try something else? It's, I don't want to say meaningless, James, but at the end of the day, it is kind of meaningless. I think that if we're maybe end of October, we should have lines set, basically. It's better to lose a couple at the beginning of the season than late in the season. I know that it counts towards the win records the same, but you'd rather be hot late in the season. So if it takes a couple games to test out new lines, I say go for it. I mean, we all love the Jofa line, but I mean, I can't think of a good name for these other lines off the top of my head. But if they work better, I mean, Jofa's outdated for a reason. We got CCM and Reebok and all those other brands now, so sorry, Jofa, if you're out of date, we'll go to another brand.
So what we saw in Florida at the start of the preseason with Fiala, Forsberg, and Johansson, it was absolute domination. And granted, it was in a split squad game, so they probably took advantage of some really good matchups. As I said before, I think Laviolette's only doing his job to exercise every avenue of which lines work and which lines don't. And at least from what we saw in one game with Fiala, Forsberg, and Johansson, that, I mean, blew it out of the water. That worked. So as of right now, the Jofa line is still intact. Still have the Fiala, Turris, Smith line, which, yeah, that's probably what I would do. But it would be interesting, if in game 52 in the season. Or if you're in a more comfortable spot, like you're in a playoff spot, what the heck? Why not try it? Because there's going to be times, if they're in the, playing in the playoffs in 2019, and the Jofa line's just in a cold streak, and it's a 2-2 series, something that Laviolette can pull out of his bag of tricks. So,
and also, I mean, who's to say that Johansson, I obviously don't want this to happen, who's to say someone doesn't have an injury? I mean, you don't need them to be just like one certain line. You need them to know how to play maybe a couple different lines with different guys. I mean, obviously they all practice with each other, but just that in-game experience, I mean, you never know when that's going to come in hand, like just playing with other people.
All right, the third and final question that we have for the Nashville Predators this season: will there be a trade for a middle six winger? I mean, you could put it as top 6 or top 9 winger. Is there a trade in the future for a winger, a secondary scoring winger at least, for the Nashville Predators?
I almost wonder if the Preds near the trade deadline have put a little bit of faith in UC Saros. I almost think maybe they should trade Pekka. I mean, 35. It's going to take.
Oh my God!
But how many more years does he realistically have? All right.
He just won the Vesna Trophy! For God's sake.
I mean, that means the trade bait's high, does it not?
It is high if you're like some team like the Chicago Blackhawks when you don't, which by the way, they would never trade the Chicago Blackhawks. And I know this is a truly hypothetical because I don't see this happening at all. Calgary would probably be a team because honestly, Mike Smith, he's not going to get it done in the playoffs. I hate to be that kind of person, but I mean, we've seen what Mike Smith is capable of. It's 2012, he was amazing, but yeah, after that, not so much.
That's all I gotta say. If we're going to get a mid-6, let's go top 3 and trade Pekka. Okay?
Top 3 trade Pekka. Yeah.
Or Timmy Panarin, come here, come home.
Yeah, that's not happening. I don't even know if he wants to sign a contract there, to be honest.
I don't know if he wants to sign a contract anywhere, but
well,
obviously not Columbus.
Well, probably in a big market. Here's one guy I would like. If they were to make a trade, one guy I would like, Chris Kreider. He's a guy that obviously can score in many different ways. He can score off the rush. He can pretty much score in those dirty areas. As we've seen before in watching him in playoff hockey, he is not afraid to crash the net. Carey Price would pretty much attest to that. Pretty much. He is a guy that is not afraid to crash the net. And I think he can, and he has good size where he can pretty much be a net front presence where, like I said before, he's willing to score those dirty goals. And
kind of like Patrick Hornfist for the Preds.
Yes. But, I mean, and, you know, they just lost Scott Hartnell. I think Chris Kreider would be a nice fit on this team. And I don't think that it would cost an arm and a leg to get Chris Kreider compared to, I know this is another hypothetical, if you were to trade for somebody like Brandon Saad from the Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah.
He's just not a big name.
Yeah.
Like, so obviously it's going to be...
Well, that and you're trading inside your division. So, and we saw what happened after the last Chicago trade. Eitzel looks like a good player. It remains to be seen what happens with their first-round pick that they used from the Preds.
You're talking about Chris Kreider. If we did, I would hope that I had someone that could play playoff hockey because I mentioned the goaltending situation earlier. But to win playoffs, to win in the playoffs, you gotta be gritty. You gotta drop the gloves. I know it doesn't score, but sometimes any advantage you can do will win. I know Kreider probably ain't going to be just going out there Jordan Tutuing it up, but I just used him as a verb. But
yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
But I mean, you see Ovi, like sometimes you need a spark from someone that scores goals that, I mean, you just don't really expect to be going out there and hitting people. But
sparking a fire in the rear end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
All right, so let's cut to the predictions. I'm sure that's the only reason some of y'all clicked on the video. We're going to start out with our bold prediction for the Preds, and then who we think is going to win the Stanley Cup Finals. Jordan, you want to say your bold prediction first?
Dante Fabro gets traded. Yours.
Dang, that was bad.
Hot take! It's not like you have to be like really like, oh my gosh, like oh my gosh, this guy is not signing. He's gonna pull a Jimmy Vesey. Like, it's not at that point. All right, but it is a little concerning. Like, I mean, pretty much the Preds were like, look. I mean, they wanted him to sign with the Preds, and I don't blame him. It's going back to Boston University. He'll get a chance to play for a national championship, even though Brady Tkachuk's not going to be there. He's most likely to be playing for the Ottawa Senators this season. Poor Brady Tkachuk. You got to wonder, because it's not like he's going to sign a contract like before the trade deadline. If he's going to sign a contract, it's going to be after his season ends. I would not trade Dante Fabro for somebody like Mark Stone, but I mean, if there's somebody out there to that comparable that has more turn, if I was David Poile, I would think about it. So that's it for my bold prediction. Ryan, what's yours? What am I going to get annoyed by?
Oh, I'll go with my slightly one, and then I'll go into my second.
So he's got two, apparently.
The second one, get ready. You're going to be ticked, everybody. The first one I've got is, well, this one might also tick people off. We've got the Preds losing in the first round. They're going to be the 4th/8th seed in the Western Conference. They're going to lose to the Sharks. Above us, we've got Winnipeg, obviously. Blues. And or Stars in that 2-3. And then we're the 4th in the Central. They've got offense in almost every area. They've got, obviously, Erik Karlsson now, Joe Thornton, old man. They've got the Wookiee, Brent Burns.
Old man. Old man.
I mean, he is. They got Pavelski and Couture. And, I mean, they got the Shark Tank, all right? The crowd's going to be energized whenever we're playing them in that first round. And Fortnite reference, we take the L, okay? It's going to be bad. But if you're mad about that, it's just about to get a lot hotter.
So what's your second bold prediction? Because I'm ready to have my mind blown away here.
Oh, yeah, I've been hopping this up. Alright, so goes back to what I was talking about earlier, that 47-35 might be void. I think the Preds are going to consider, and they should, trading Pekka Rinne. Alright, 35 years old. Yeah, he's been the cornerstone for a little bit, but maybe it's time. Maybe it's just time. to move in another direction. You don't know how many more years he has, and this could be the highest value that you could get for him.
Okay, so, yeah, everybody, you're probably screaming at the screen, why would you say that? Trading Pekka, that is not going to happen. I'm just going to be straight up honest. That's not going to happen. That guy's probably going to end his career in a Preds jersey. This is a true hypothetical, okay? I mean, what are you going to get for him? What are you going to get for Pekka if you were to trade him? If you were David Poile and you just put him out there on the market, what do you want?
I mean, you could look for some young prospects, or you could also look for maybe that 27, 28, someone that's maybe on the back end of their prime, that's gritty and knows how to play playoff hockey, because I think UC Saros could win some playoff games.
To me, I think that they're probably a secondary scorer away from, I think, having a very, I mean, it's already a formidable lineup, but you add that one secondary scorer, like I said before, Chris Kreider. That would be a great addition, I think. But I mean, you're not. If you trade him to Calgary, you're not getting Johnny Gaudreau. That's just not going to happen. You trade him to Philadelphia, you're not getting Nolan Patrick. You know, you're not going to get that type of player, because, I mean, for a 35, even if he won the Vezina Trophy last year, you're just not going to get that type of player. It's just not going to happen. I mean, if you're the Preds right now, granted, their prospect pool, compared to where we sit more last year, it's gotten really bare. You know, you trade Gerard, you trade Kamenev, you trade your first round pick for this most recent draft. You know, you trade Victor Ejdsell
anymore.
Yeah, well, Pontus Aberg's now with the Ducks.
I know.
Is it third team the charm? I have no idea at this point. People are probably going to be outside your house now with pitchforks and torches, because you just said that.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. All right, so now that we've said, he said his
Preds out in
Preds
out in first round, pick out mid-season.
Fire.
You heard it here first, folks.
Fiery hot take. Okay, so
where do you think the Preds are going to
all right, so here's where I'm at. I think that I don't see back-to-back Central Division champions. I see the Winnipeg Jets winning their first division title since the Atlanta Thrashers back in 06-07. That Southeast Division, man. That was the division. So, Atlanta Thrashers mentioned too.
So 2007.
Yeah, 06-07. They got swept. Yep. Biggest J.S. Jaguar fan you'd ever meet in your life. I do see them being the second seed in the Central Division. I see them playing the St. Louis Blues. I think that, like I said, I really liked what they did this offseason. Of course, bringing in what they brought in. I don't think they, like, especially with the Ryan O'Reilly trade, I don't think they gave up a lot of assets, but I mean, like Swaboka and then Berglund, Tage Thompson, I don't think that's really going to, really hurt the team when you're just trading mostly like third-line wingers and then a prospect. I mean, when you already have Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas coming into the pictures. I believe the Preds are going to beat the Blues in the first round. Any team with Jake Allen, I'm not going to trust. I'm not going to trust at that point. Sorry, Jake Allen. We know that the Preds and the Jets are probably going to be in a collision course. If, at least with this hypothetical, they would be in a collision course to meet each other in the second round. If you play that Game 7 last year like 10 times, Preds might win 5 of them. Who knows? I think they'll get past the Winnipeg Jets this year. However, I don't see them getting past the San Jose Sharks in the Western Conference Final. There's something about the Sharks, and now I understand this is pure history, like pure history, even though 3 years ago apparently is history. Until I see the Preds beat the Sharks in a playoff series, until I see the Preds beat the Sharks in a game at the Shark Tank in the playoffs, I just don't see it happen. So now the Stanley Cup Final, okay?
I've got the Sharks in the Western Conference.
Well, we both agree on that.
He agrees on that. Who you got one in the Eastern Conference, and then who you have one in the...
Okay, so I'm going to be boring here. I'm going to go with the Lightning. Yeah, I know, that's like the heavy favorites right now. I say the San Jose Sharks win the Stanley Cup. Something about the Tampa Bay Lightning, about that team, it's when everything is on the line. They just don't seem to show up. They just don't. I mean, they're 1-3 in Game 7s in this decade.
Does Joe Thornton pull a Jerome Bettis and retire champion.
Probably. I mean, that's what I would assume. But maybe he's got another. Maybe he wants to go another season. Who knows? But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking right now. Yeah, I'd say Joe Thornton would probably retire in that moment.
The blue and white, I respect that. But my Eastern Conference champions, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Woo!
They're going to ride some youth. They're going to ride Frederik Andersen to the championship. All right? The Preds a couple years showed a hot goalie can make it a long ways. Well, a hot goalie mixed with some hot scoring, it's going to win the Stanley Cup final. All right? They're going to beat the overall favorites in the Tampa Bay Lightning. And they're also going to beat
Boston Bruins.
Boston.
Yeah. It's like I can read your mind, man. So who they meet from the Eastern Conference Final? Pittsburgh Penguins, Washington Capitals.
See, one thing you might learn of me this year is that I love
Philadelphia
Ovi.
Flyers.
I love Ovi. I hate the Flyers.
He hates the Flyers, apparently, folk.
The Pittsburgh Penguins make it to the Eastern Conference Final. Beat them in 5. Because the Penguins, I said the kid's going to be a crybaby. See, I made the Preds fans mad earlier.
That'll help them out. I won't say that, even though
we might throw a water bottle.
You probably see my Twitter posts in the past about Sidney Crosby, but I'm not going to hash him out right now.
I think when it gets to the Stanley Cup Final, I think it's going to be a really good Stanley Cup Final because you got two fan bases that have really been longing for a championship. Canada especially, the whole entire country. It's going to be a hot team. They don't have the pressure of being a favorite. And I really think Austin Matthews breaks out. I'm putting him down for 90 points at least this season.
Ooh! How much Tavares going to get this year? Oh, man. And Kadri is our third-line center. That's it. He has the Toronto Maple Leafs winning the Stanley Cup. Got the Sharks winning it. Sorry, Preds. I think you'll have to wait another year. But, hey, this is preseason predictions. Most likely we're going to be wrong. We both picked the Sharks to be in the final. That mostly means they're probably not going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. So let's wait. We'll wait and see. I mean, there's going to be teams out there that are going to surprise us, like, make the playoffs when we didn't think they'd make the playoffs, and then teams that we thought were going to be there, like, everybody predicting the Oilers last season. They didn't even make it last year. Hockey season's finally here. Ryan, do you want to say anything before we head out?
I don't think I have anything too much hotter other than make sure to check your local clippings and stock up on tissues for when Pekka gets traded mid-season.
Man. Oh, man.
Don't want to sharpen up the pitchforks. Also, because, I know our predictions are probably pretty spot on, but if you don't believe us and you want to check out some others, click the links in the description. We got some
nice plug. Nice plug. I like it.
They got predictions on everything. It's 25%.
Who's they? Who's they?
Oh yeah, the Penalty Box
Radio staff. Click that link below. It's going to see the most unusual predictions ever. Ever. Yeah, that's a great tease right there.
That's a hot take.
That's it? Wow, that seemed like that went by so fast. I'm saying that very sarcastically.
If you didn't get too annoyed by us today, just tune in on Thursday whenever we recap the Rangers game at Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. We'll do our best to annoy you then as well, but we'll also try to provide some good insight on at least what we saw from the game and from the Predators. See if maybe I want to trade Pekka after the first game.
We wish we were at Madison Square Garden, but
yeah, Don Cherry,
he
didn't quite hit me up with some hockey.
Some credentials. We wish we had credentials at Madison Square Garden, but that just for our personal bank accounts, that's just way too much right now. So,
and they also said we're a little bit too famous. They don't want the added security.
Thank you for watching this video so much of our season preview and our introduction to these Preds video recaps. As he said, we will be back with the Preds video recap, the first one, recapping the Preds Rangers game that happened at Madison Square Garden, and then get you ready for Preds Islanders on Saturday night, from Barclays Center. Should be a dandy. Looking forward to this hockey season. Thank you so much for watching this Preds video preview. I'm Jordan Cimini.
I'm Ryan Nixon.
And see you next time on the Preds Video Recap.